Let's get some analysis on the latest developments then at Eskom. The Minister, of course, just announcing that new board, and on the line with us via Zoom is Knox Mosebenzi, who's an energy expert and public enterprise, of course. Thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate your time here with us here on SABC News, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
All right, let's start there then. What is your reaction then to the board? There were questions around, I think, some of the reporters who were able to pose questions there, and I'm not sure that they got a sufficient answer there, but you'll tell us whether or not you thought that that answer was adequate. The question around why, only change the board when there's been a lot of complaints about the CEO himself, De Ruyter. I think that question was posed a number of times to the minister. What are your thoughts on that, but also his answer?
Clearly, the choice of the boards and particularly the executive team, CEO, that's the prerogative of the Public Enterprises Minister. That's well within his right, and we know that he has been consistently saying he is happy with the performance of Mr. De Ruyter. So it comes as no surprise. Just to comment on the new board from where I stand, coming from the nuclear industry, I'm particularly pleased that we have the likes of Clive Leroux, who will add value, I believe, from a knowledge point of view, and his experience in generation in general, and his knowledge of the Eskom system. I think the noises that the public has been making in terms of the composition of the board has been the noises have been heard, but I think I would have liked to see more engineers and more people experienced in Eskom environment on the board than there is. But at least what we have at this point in time, I would say, is an improvement on what was before.
Yeah, Knox, and in fact, it's as though you anticipated my next question. That is indeed where I was going. They have said that the minister did say that there is an appointing of engineers familiar with Eskom. You're saying that there should have been more engineers. And why has this not always been the case? One would think that, Eskom would have more than enough engineers at the helm, and as you rightly say, that perhaps there should have in fact been more than what we're hearing at this time. Why wasn't this always the case? Well,
if you look at the Eskom composition of the board, going way back, there were quite a number of engineers. There was also a lot of international experience, people that have got exposure to other utilities throughout the world, to bring in some new thinking from outside. As to why there isn't that many engineers is really the prerogative of the shareholder. But certainly, as I said, there has been an improvement. I think there is at least two engineers there, chartered accountants. And like I said before, I would have liked to see more people from generation, people from transmission, people from distribution, so that they can talk to the real issues. When the minister is talking about improvement of the EAF, you need to be speaking to, the board needs to be speaking from a position of knowledge, so that they can interrogate the presentations from the executive management. But if the people on the board are not in a position to understand and interrogate it, it is a problem. But let me say again, I think the current board that has been announced is an improvement on what we had before.
Yeah, we're hearing that there's been a bringing back of former experts who indeed served at Eskom before. I mean, we had been kind of given the impression that all that was at Eskom before was all bad. What is your reaction to the fact that they've been brought back, some of those that were experts that had served at Eskom prior to this?
I think the part of the responsibility of management is the recruitment and retention of staff. if the issue was the management was not able to retain staff because of the constraints in the laws of the country, those are the issues that need to be addressed. Management cannot run away from the responsibility of making sure that they've got staff. That's why you've got a whole HR department, and the various line managers make sure that they've got sufficient people that are in place, and they've got enough people in the pipeline that come in to cater for resignations, old agents, and stuff like that. That is part of management. Management is not just about switching generators on and off. It's about a whole lot of things: financial, human resources, and so on. So really, the challenge that any manager has, the challenge that the CEO has, the challenge that the board has, is in terms of making sure that there is that in place. That is what management is all about.
All right. Thanks very much for giving us your time then, Knox Mosebenzi, who is indeed an energy expert, weighing in, of course, as we got the update then from Eskom, as Minister Pravin Gordhan announced measures to strengthen governance at Eskom, and, of course, importantly, announcing the new board.